Hey all, this is CL Mowers from XDA Developers, coming to you today to show you how to get Ubuntu working with any Android device with ADB. Particularly today I am showing you how to do the visual LAN, Prestige 7L. I created a ROM and some users are having issues with the ADB trying to get it connected. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. The first thing we need to do is there's technically three ways to install ADB. First way is through the terminal. Second way is through the Android SDK, and the third way is through the Ubuntu software. If you want the SDK, this will give you the full SDK. This includes Eclipse, the ADD plugins, the tools, Android platforms, emulators, the whole 9 yards. If you just go to developers.android.com/SDK, this will bring you to this site here, which I will post a link to down in the description below. And you can just download whatever version that you particularly need and get you up and running through that. Another way of doing it is through the terminal, which is how I prefer to do things. I'm a terminal guy, so I like the terminal. In order to get it installed on here, you want to do sudo apt or sudo apt-get apt-get install, and the package name is android-tools-adb. And hit enter. It's going to ask for the password. You put your password in. It's telling me that I already have it installed. If you don't have it installed, it's going to ask you, it's going to tell you that you're going to need to download some packages, and it's going to use this much, blah blah blah. Just hit enter to that, and it will go ahead and install it. Same thing with fast boot. I also like fast boot too. So if you go ahead and do the same thing, just change the ADB to fast boot, and go through the same steps. It's going to tell me I already have it installed, which I do. But if you don't have it installed, just go through this install, just hit enter, and it will install it. Third way of doing it is actually through the software program with Ubuntu, the Ubuntu Software Center. There's a few ways of doing it. You can search for Android-tools, which will give you the fast boot and the ADB, or you can just look up ADB and search, and it will give you it there too. Same thing with fast boot. It will give you just the fast boot. So once you get that all installed, next step we need to do is actually create the actual file itself that we need, which is called the Android rules, which is the actual technical name is 51-android.rules file. This file is basically a file that allows ADB to access the USB port with the correct permissions. So if you're using KDE, you'll want to change this to KEdit or KWrite. If you're using Vi or Vim, it's going to be slightly different, but if you know how to use that utility, you can go ahead and use Vi or Vim. Same concept though. So basically what we're going to do is in the terminal itself, you'll want to actually run this command. What this will do is actually open up gedit and create a file in the temp directory called android.rules. If you type that in, you'll get a blank form just like this. And then what you'll need to do is actually copy these files right here, these lines right here. You'll want to copy them right into there, just like that. And basically what this file is like I was saying, this is basically saying the subsystem of the USB. So we're attaching ourselves to the USB port, and the vendor ID. Each manufacturer has its own ID. I'm not sure what the breakdown of these actual numbers are, but like LG has its own, HTC, Motorola, Samsung, all the big guys, they all have their own vendor ID. It's a driver-based type deal. So basically, anything that has, let's say if this is Samsung here, anything that's Samsung related would be 0BB4. I don't believe that's Samsung, but that's just it as an example. And basically what this is mode is giving it read-write access for all users, for root, owner, all that good stuff. You don't need 777, which is read-write execute permissions. You only need read-write, so leave that at the 666 permissions, the devil permissions, as I like to call them. So once you get that copied and pasted, you just want to do a quick save. Just click save or file save or explanation save, depending on what you're using. And then once you get that copied, you can actually close that window out. And then the next thing you're going to do is actually copy it into the directory that we need it, which is this command right here. This is basically saying copy that temp file, the androids.rule that we created, and copy it over to the etc/u./rules.d/ directory. And it's going to change the name from android.rules to 51-android.rules. That would be the new file name. Once you copy that over, you're going to want to give it permissions. And this here is the command to give it permissions. And basically what this is saying is it's giving the owner read-write access and everyone else read-only. Once you do that, you actually want to give the root user ownership of that file. Anytime you create a file within Linux, Windows, Mac, it creates it with that current user. I'm currently logged in as my user Chris. And basically what happens is when I create a file, the owner becomes Chris. And we want to actually change that to root so the system can have access to it and do what it needs to do to it. So you're going to run that command there, and that will give you, that will change the owner to the root in order to get everything correctly run. Next thing we're going to do is actually restart the udev service with basically this command right here. This will restart the service in order for the new rules, the new file to be changed and picked up and actually running. Anytime you make any changes to a service file in Linux, you'll actually want to restart the services or restart that particular program that you're changing the files to in order for it to pick up the changes. And once you do that, if you already tried ADB, if you did the ADB devices and you get the no permission error, which is why we're actually doing this, you'll actually want to run this command here. This will actually kill that service so you can rerun it so it's picking up the new rules. Another way of doing it is actually this command right here, these commands set right here. And this will basically just kill the server and basically restart it, and then the ADB devices is the command that you do to list your devices. Within ADB, if you do the devices, if it's working right, you should see your serial number right here and then device. That will basically say that it's working and you should have full access. So now if you do an ADB like logcat, hopefully, maybe. Why is it not working? Check my Huh. Interesting. Okay, it appears that this is not working. Okay, so this is actually a prime example. Let's restart this. There we go. Okay, so as in a prime example, that's how you would restart your ADB services. I probably lost it right now because of the logcat. Yep. But now, if you go into, you should be able to, yeah. So you'll be able to get into ADB. Now, another way that you can actually do this is if you download a third-party app. You can actually do what they call ADB Wi-Fi. Now with ADB Wi-Fi, you do not need to do this those set up with the Android rules. That's only if you want to do USB So as an example, I just disconnected the USB from my phone or my tablet, and there's third-party apps where you can do ADB Wi-Fi in the marketplace or the Play Store, whatever you want to call it. My personal preference is actually Trickster Mod, because it has it's basically kind of like an all-in-one. It gives me an ability to change governors, all that good stuff, and also allows me to do ADB over a network. If you're running a Kyogen mod or any type of aftermarket or yeah, I gotta say a custom ROM, I should say, Kyogen mod or some of the other guys out there, they will have the ability to give you developers options, which I don't know if it's in the stock Android. I have not run a stock Android in God knows how long. It's been an extremely long time since I've run a stock Android, so I don't know if it comes in by stock. But in there, under developer options, you also have the ability to do ADB over network. But again, you're also running root, so most likely you probably do have some type of custom recovery or custom ROM running. But in order to get ADB to work over Wi-Fi, you basically just enable it, and it basically gives it an IP address with a port. And in order to do ADB over Wi-Fi, you just do ADB connect the IP address of the device, which we'll show you, in the default port, which is 5555. And then you go ahead and hit enter, and this will give you same access. So now if you do ADB devices, it will show you that my device is connected at that IP address, and you can do the same commands. ADB shell, and it will get you into the shell to do the same exact thing. That's pretty much it. Like I said, this will work on pretty much any Android device running, actually pretty much any Android device, including tablets, phones, whatever. It will also allow you to do a lot of cool things. Be able to do backup to your computer, or go through and do side loads and all that good stuff. So ADB is an excellent tool for any of you guys doing custom work, or custom ROMs, custom Androids, whatever, or even if you're just an enthusiast and just like to root your devices and hack them and whack them. I mean, that's the whole point of Android, is it's open source, so we can have full control over it. So but that's it for now. I will be posting a video later on how to install the CM10 and along with Clockworks mod on the Prestige 7L. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys in the forums.